Nothing starts without an idea, and no idea can develop into a fully thought out finished product without researching to know what'll make it grow. To develop and create a presentation, a speech, or a video for your YouTube channel takes more than just an idea. It takes research to fill in and develop the body or the bulk of your work. Research is a necessary step that sounds like work. Well, because research is work, but it doesn't have to be dull and boring. The purpose and goal of this video is designed to help you become more efficient while saving you precious time and stress as you search for and discover important information to complete all of your projects in school, at work, and in your life. I taught these steps, techniques, and tips to over 1,000 college students over the years. It helped them, and I know it can help you too. Before you even take the first step in researching anything, is that you have to first know what the idea or topic you're investigating is. If you completed your concept map, you already know what those topics are. If you don't know what a concept map is, you should check out the free mini course on my Think If It course page, how to come up with any new idea right after completing this video. The link is in the description. Just so you know ahead of time, the mini course only takes about 15 minutes to complete and has 3 free concept maps that you can download and use immediately. Without a map, your idea and supporting points will take longer to develop and lead to higher levels of stress, frustration, wasted time, and can have you so lost and trapped on a dead end that you give up all hope of ever finishing. Another part of the first step in researching your idea and its supporting points is that you need to be aware of the purpose and intent of your finished product. What that means is that it doesn't matter if you're writing a paper, designing a presentation, or producing a video, you need to have an intention to the tone or feel of your work. Is it going to be a serious, straightforward, informational subject? Or is it going to be light and casual? Or is it going to be a persuasive speech designed to motivate your audience to take or not take an action? Perhaps it's just something fun and entertaining to leave people feeling in a good mood with a great, positive, and uplifting feeling. And we certainly could use more of that kind of content. By knowing the overall purpose of your final product, along with a good attitude, will help you to focus in on what kind of information you'll be looking for that supports your ideas. This brings us to the next part of researching that is not usually taught, but I teach it, and that's the attitude it takes to perform research. If you just go through the motions of research, it can turn into dull and boring work that seems like it takes too long and results in not finding what you're looking for. If you take on the mindset to approach your research activity time with a positive attitude, you'll feel and find that the process is much more enjoyable, and you'll be able to work more effectively at discovering relevant and usable content. The number one benefit of thinking of your research time as a good thing, along with a positive attitude, will also help to reduce and even avoid the frustration and anxiety of what many people suffer from when researching without even realizing why they're feeling that way. If you've ever felt frustrated while researching something because there was just too much information, you experienced what's called information overload, and this can also lead to information anxiety. To avoid information overload and information anxiety, you need to have a clear goal of what you're looking for, and then only look at specific information that directly supports your topic. When you find something of interest, ask these questions. Does this directly support my point? Is this understandable? And will I even be able to explain it in an easy to understand way that's not overly technical? Will it take too long to describe? Or does it seem awkward and slightly out of place? If the information does not meet the criteria of supporting your idea, skip it. Sometimes deleting information from a project actually makes it flow better too. Don't be afraid to leave something out if it's not quite right. Discipline yourself to not chase after new information that may be interesting, but not exactly what you need. Something to be very aware of. If you're not careful and sometimes you're in a hurry and using new information, it can change the meaning of a supporting point and even cause mission drift from the main idea of your work that will most likely cause a lot of frustration, increased stress, and anxiety that can put you behind schedule and possibly cause you to even miss a deadline. This is why that concept map and having clear supporting points are so important. Your concept map also reminds you of exactly what supporting points you're looking for. And before you ask the common question of how many supporting points should you even have, the answer is it depends on how long your project is and how complex you want to make it. So what happens when you find a whole bunch of really good information and you're lucky enough not to suffer from information overload? Should you use it? That's not really a good idea. A good way to deal with too much information, no matter how good it is, is to make sure it supports and is related specifically to your supporting point and your overall main idea. A good rule of thumb to go by is that you should have, obviously, at least one, but no more than two supporting points for each main point to keep your audience from losing track of the main idea. Speaking of two supporting points, I would truly appreciate it if you could take just 2 seconds to support what I do by smashing that thumbs up and consider tapping that subscribe button so you don't have to search around for my channel every week to learn more about what I teach. Thanks. Speaking of searching around, you also need to develop a decent level of what's called information literacy. Information literacy is the ability to locate, then evaluate, and then use that information you find that will most likely come from an online source. However, a big challenge is, how do you know if the information is even credible? Just because something sounds good and directly supports your point, can you still use it even though it may not be true? Sure you can, as long as you state that it was questionable in the first place, but relevant to the topic. A good example of this was when one of my students wanted to create and deliver a persuasive speech to convince his audience that Bigfoot is real. Seriously, his concern was that even though he believes the evidence collected by the sources he trusted to be true, he questioned whether it was reliable enough to use to make his case. My answer was, well, until Bigfoot actually sits down and does a live interview, you just need to present the information, cite the source of where you got it from, and then let the audience decide for themselves as to the validity of the evidence. Besides, if you leave people with what's called information hunger, they will naturally want to learn more about it and want to check it out for themselves. And hopefully it's through you. By the way, his speech was awesome. So, do you always need to mention where you got your information from? The short answer is yes, you do. To avoid plagiarism and increase your credibility, you had better cite your sources when it comes to facts, statistics, and quotations. The easiest way to do this is just use these two words, according to. For me to go through the countless examples of how to cite every situation is not really practical. There's just too many scenarios. And then there's the variability of how you use words, how you build your sentences, and where a source even comes from. The easiest way to keep citations manageable when you say them out loud and not sound like you're reading from an academic reference page is to just use those two words of according to, and then mention the author, the title, where the information was pulled from, and the date it was published. To learn more about plagiarism, watch my video, How to Avoid Plagiarism, that's linked in the description. Here's one last efficiency tip that can save you hours of time when researching and collecting information, especially when you need to include a reference page. When you find an article, a video, or a blog online that meets your needs to support your work, don't just copy part of it. Don't just copy a sentence. Copy and paste the entire piece into a new document that includes the title, the author, the website, and the date it was published. This is going to save you so much time of trying to find it again later. The more accurate you are with your collection and organization of your gathered information will make the next step of developing your outline that much easier as you work towards completing your finished papers, presentations, speeches, and videos. Nothing starts without an idea, and no idea can develop into a fully thought out finished product without knowing what makes it grow, and that's research. Remember that my goal is that your success is the goal in school, work, and life beyond. I'll see you online soon.